Could the Montreal Canadiens make yet another trade, this time with the Pittsburgh Penguins? No, don't worry, Penguins fans, we are not going to go out there and start talking about number 87 Sid the Kid. He's not our target in today's video. Instead, we are sticking with the Quebecois and talking about Anthony Mantha, aka Anthony Pronovost, as to whether or not he could be a Canadiens trade target. Mantha is 31 years old, 6'5", 234, a left-handed winger, signed on till the end of this season, making $2.5 million a year. My goodness, that is a small dollar amount. Sure, Mantha has made a lot of money in earlier seasons, $5.7 million a year, starting in 2020 with the Washington Capitals. That was always going to stand out as a meaningful part of Mantha's progress. But the unfortunate part about those seasons is that he just wasn't really that amazing. He had his struggles in Washington, got sent over to Vegas for a playoff run, then played in Calgary, and now Pittsburgh, where he's got 29 points in 45 games played. Mantha is on pace for 53 points in 82 games, which, at the ripe old age of 31 years old, would be a career high. He had reached 48 points in a season twice with the Detroit Red Wings, although it should be noted one of those seasons saw him put up that amount of points in only 67 games. So Mantha was a very good Red Wing, just in terms of the offensive productivity and the scoring touch that he brought. There were extra elements to Mantha's game that did not really lend itself well to the Red Wings, especially towards the end of his time there. Stuff about him maybe wanting some more minutes and his play off the puck, especially for a team in Detroit that was not great. The Red Wings needed to get as much value as they could for their former first-round pick in 2013. I'd say the Red Wings are doing pretty all right now, and Mantha's doing all right with the Penguins. But where does this leave the Montreal Canadiens? You see, there was an article posted on TVA Sports' website yesterday talking about this very name and this very team. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go out there and read the piece yourself, but let's dive into it here in this video. Félix Séguin believes the Montreal Canadiens should prioritize acquiring a winger on the trade market, and that the top Quebec scorer this season could be a very interesting option. According to the TVA Sports broadcaster of Canadiens games, the team needs a big, talented winger who can play on both top lines. Anthony Mantha perfectly fits that description. Kent Hughes was clear in his press conference. He is not ready to give up the land. He wants a rental player. Mantha is a rental player. 2 years ago, when the Golden Knights acquired him, he cost a second and a fourth-round pick, Séguin explained on the JIC show on Wednesday. The QC native is doing very well with the Pittsburgh Penguins. In fact, he leads all Quebec players with 29 points in 45 games. The 31-year-old vet is also only playing an average of 15 minutes per game. Gaining weight should be a priority for the Canadiens, Séguin believes. What better way than with Mantha, who stands 6'5" and weighs 240. I really targeted Mantha, or that type of guy, tall, imposing, offensively skilled, to help Suzuki and Caulfield on the first line, he explained. Obviously, something will have to be given up in return. Could Hughes kill two birds with one stone by trading Patrik Laine's contract, or one of the team's many soon-to-be-healthy forwards, like Jake Evans? Okay, now you've got my attention. An Anthony Mantha for Patrik Laine trade? An Anthony Mantha for Jake Evans trade? Now, when I hear of Mantha being a first-line option for the Canadiens alongside of Suzuki and Caulfield, I think intrinsically it does work. Like, you think about Juraj Slafkovsky, the fact that he was a bigger dude playing with these two smaller dudes on the first line. Not that Suzuki is small. Not even that Caulfield is small, really. Like, who am I to talk? I'm shorter than everybody in the NHL. But having Anthony Mantha with a huge frame alongside a Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki would be a nice intimidating force, especially since this season Mantha has shown off that he can play with some of the top talent in Pittsburgh. If you head over to the Penguins and their lines, you'll see that Mantha is being given a pretty good spot. He's right there with Ben Kindel and Justin Brazeau on the third line. Now, that's actually not what I thought he was up to. I thought he was playing with Malkin this entire time. Oh no, it's because Chinakhov is there. Right, they just got him. Talk about power play as well. Is Mantha getting any opportunities there? Okay, yeah, he's on the second unit too. There was a period earlier on in the season where Sidney Crosby, Rust, and Mantha were tearing it up. That was when Mrtka was out, and that was before Chinakhov got acquired. So Mantha, his production will probably start to decline a little bit based off of the way these latest Penguins games have gone. But either way, he does have that first-line experience. He can be a guy in a Montreal top six. But I do kind of question at the same time, if Mantha's coming over to play here, top-line right wing, what happens to Alexandre Texier? Do you send him back down? Do you ride a guy who is on a hot hand and you decide to say, all right, sorry, we're going to trade for another guy to replace you on the top unit, not even give him the space to eventually phase out of being a first-line player? I don't know. I mean, the Canadiens just signed Texier to an extension, so I doubt he really cares. As long as he gets whatever playing time he can get, I think he'll be fine. Anything could be better than St. Louis, right? But talking about trade returns, I honestly do find a little bit of intrigue as to the idea of Pittsburgh acquiring Patrik Laine. He hasn't played all year. $8.7 million a year to the end of this season. He's only gotten 1 point in the 5 games that he did play. Patrik Laine has been such a disappointment for Montreal this season. Last year, there was so much to like, with the goal scoring and the power plays and the heavy slap shot, the one-timer. Obviously, that was going to be an element that Canadiens fans latched onto heading into the summer. But it just didn't manifest into positive results in the limited sample that Laine did play, and now he's out. He's injured again, so of course it hasn't been a season to remember for the Big Finn. Not even insinuating here that Pittsburgh could re-sign Patrik Laine, but just the idea of freeing up whatever money you need to free up and giving roster spots to other guys. I do think that Laine would be a nice addition for a Pittsburgh Penguins roster, not in terms of the on-ice gameplay, but in just acquiring assets. Like, if Montreal pays an extended, bigger price to get Anthony Mantha off of their team, but they also get rid of Patrik Laine, I think that makes sense. You would free up so much cap space by getting rid of Patrik Laine and his $8.7 million a year. That could be used to do some other big things. If Montreal wants to do a big swing this year, they could get Anthony Mantha and then somebody else, using the cap savings of a Patrik Laine contract's removal to help them in that respect. So I do think there is reason to think about an Anthony Mantha trade. Patrik Laine, I could understand why you might say, hey, why not just get Mantha for some reasonably priced asset, like a first or something? Why have to attach Laine and then even more stuff because Laine's value is technically negative? Makes sense, but I did want to explore all the possibilities here. So with that in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the idea of an Anthony Mantha trade to the Montreal Canadiens? And how do you feel about Patty Laine going back the other way, potentially with some other stuff involved too? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Rolls 99, and bye.